Oh,
Outside of that, our next act, it's about to go down in the DMs. That shows my age. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. DM himself, Mr. Dutch Martin. Are you ready, Dutch?
yes, sir. I am ready.
All right. I am about to give you the screen. Chris, I'm out. Dutch, it's all you.
Thank you very much, folks. Folks, I'm just going to come out and say it. I have mommy issues. See, my mom was a tough lady, okay? She didn't take any crap off anybody. In fact, she hated it whenever I would ask her about things that she felt were none of my business, like who my real father was. And growing up was hard. See, I never fit in with my own people. See, my mom stressed education. She kept my head in the book. She stressed education and good grammar. So, unlike the other black kids I grew up with, English is actually my first language. See, I suck at slang, okay? Full disclosure, my Ebonics game is not on fleek, okay? I wish they had a Steve Harvey edition of Rosetta Stone. See, these are some of the reasons why I became a yoga instructor. Yes, you heard that right. I am a certified yoga instructor. I'm not a football player. I don't work at a nightclub as a bouncer. So I'm not trying to check your ID at the front door. I'm not trying to check your tight end on the defensive line. I want to check your chakras because nothing makes me feel like a true alpha male than my favorite pair of yoga pants. First time I tried yoga, it was hard. Okay. People who were into it told me that it puts you in a state of euphoria. My first yoga class almost put me in the hospital. Okay, all that stretching and sweating and opening, it felt like my hips and hamstrings were applying for legal separation. But now, I love it. I love yoga. In fact, for a big guy like myself, my yoga practice opens me up in ways a police cavity search never could. It keeps my chakras nice and loose. So, hey, if you take my yoga class, I guarantee you will experience your own grand opening. You know, I kind of wish my mom had given me one of those cool Afrocentric sounding names, like Draquan or Jarquavius, or maybe just Pookie. What if we named our kids after pharmaceutical drugs with generic nicknames? Like, hey, this is my son, Dextromethorphan, or Dexter for short. His friends call him NyQuil. That's right. His nighttime coughing, sneezing, aching, stuffy head fever, so you can rest game is on fleek. It's funny, life is crazy these days. I studied French for years, all through middle school, high school, college, up until the time I worked for the federal government years ago. I was in French language training at work one day, and every Monday the instructor would have us talk about how our weekend went in French. So I decided to talk about a date I went on that weekend. When I was done, I told the class in French, "Nous avons bien joui," or "we had a great time." But I used the wrong verb and ended up telling the entire class we had a great orgasm. Whoops. I was working at a US embassy in a French speaking country years ago. One of the IT technicians got a call from the US ambassador's secretary about a problem with her computer keyboard. She tells him, "Mon cul ne marche pas," or "the letter Q on my keyboard doesn't work." Well, here's the thing. In French, see, the letter Q, pronounced Q, sounds exactly like the French word Q. So instead of hearing "my Q doesn't work," what the IT guy heard was "my ass doesn't work." Now, this is how things get lost in translation. When two words sound alike but have different meanings, in English they're called homonyms. In French, they're called hemorrhoids. Lastly, I'll say this. Political correctness has gotten out of control in our country. It was bad even before the pandemic. In Seattle, Washington, the city of Seattle had a racial sensitivity training program where it instructed all of its white employees to quote unquote undo their whiteness. First thing I thought was, well, what better way to foster racial diversity and inclusion than to have a racially segregated whites only training session on the taxpayer dime? But then I said, this is a bad idea. I'm against this. In fact, to all my white people, look, I do not want white people to undo their whiteness. And here's why. I'm way too addicted to interracial porn. That's my time, folks. Thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dutch's yoga class will give you a grand opening and he closes with a grand closing. Dutch Martin, ladies and gentlemen, Dutch Martin. Everyone give it up for him.